Thanks for tuning to the Black Fathers Initiative of Cleveland. Really appreciate the love. Make sure you click a link in the bio, like, subscribe. You know what to do. So, what we do here basically talk about things going on in the black community and, how we can make things better. And me being a advocate for making it home, that's what I teach a lot of, not even teach, but that's what I talk to a lot of young black men and women in the community about. It's about how you deal with police and how, you can, you never know what's going to happen. You can't, all you can do is try to make the situation as calm as possible so that you can make it home. Now, in this situation, I think there was a few things going on with this young man, but still, let's watch it to the end, and we're going to talk about it when it's done. Trigger warning.
Show me your hands, buddy. Okay, show me your hands. Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Step out of the car.
So right then and there, in my opinion, when the cop walks up, like, show me your hands, he's already on some there's a reason why they're pulling up on you like that. I don't know what the reason is, okay? But there's possibly something on the scanner that might have said, this man, was armed and dangerous or just came home from jail or whatever. I don't know the specifics behind why this cop was so aggressive in the stop. But once again, I can't worry about that. Only thing I can worry about is keeping myself safe and making sure that I make it home. So off top, the first discrepancy that I see is the cop says, put your hands out the window, and you don't. So let's just continue watching.
For what? Do not move. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. Do not move. Get out of the car. Do not move. Do not move. For what? Show me put your hands on the dashboard right now. Now. It's under his ass. Get out. Do not reach for it.
Stop. Ain't nothing under my ass. Put your hands up right now. Up right now. Ain't nothing under my ass. Put your hands up right now. Do you understand? I'm gonna fucking grab the roof right now. Grab the roof right now. I'm gonna end up shooting. I'm not moving. You see a gun? Shoot me. Yeah, he's reaching for something.
Look under my ass. Ain't nothing under my ass.
Undo his seatbelt.
Do not pull away.
Quit touching me. Quit touching me.
Stop.
Get your hand up now. Central, hold us the air. 10:32.
Do not reach for it.
Stop. Step back. Put your hands up right now. Up right now.
Now, as you can see, every cop has their gun out. Nobody has a taser. I don't see not one taser. All I see is guns. That right there should have let the young man know these cops were looking to kill something tonight. I'm looking to shoot some shit. We think that you are dangerous. Okay? So, in my opinion, you would try to de-escalate the situation by doing whatever these cops say, unless you want to get shot. Now, I will say the way that this young man acts, he may have been suicidal. He may have had some mental health issues. And that's why, getting people, training cops about mental health is important, but they don't care when it comes to black people. Had he been white, probably more than likely would have went a lot different. But he's black. And mental health issues and shit, they don't care about that in your initial stop. Now, maybe when you go to court and all other stuff, they'll care about it then, but they don't care about your mental health issues during traffic stops. So if the man did have some issues and had some mental health issues, they don't care. So let's continue.
Keep your hands up right now. Do you understand? I'm gonna fucking grab the roof right now. Grab the roof right now. I'm gonna end up shooting you. I'm not moving. You see a gun? Shoot me. Yeah, he's reaching for something. Look under my ass. Ain't nothing under my ass. Undo his seatbelt. No,
do not pull away.
Quit touching me. Quit touching me. Stop. Hands up. Stop.
Okay, so going on with my internet? So, yeah. The reason why he acted the way he acted, as we can see, is because he did have a gun on him. Okay? And, maybe he was looking to take a cop out. I don't know. But this is how you don't act when you get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? Like, he literally was, the whole stop was a problem. And in my opinion, even individuals who feel as though you want to, get one up on the cops or try to hurt the cop or something, or try to shoot a cop, whatever your motive is, you'll never have the upper hand in your car. That's why they pull you over and make you stay in your car, so that they can, you're in your car, you are confined, they are free. So in all actuality, your car is lightweight, a mini jail cell when they pull you over. That's why they tell you to stay in the car. We're going to confine you to this car, because just imagine if the cop pulled you over and was like, all right, when I pull you over, step out the car, before I step out the car, before the cop steps out the car. You know how many niggas will run? So they use the car actually as a way to confine you, so that they can, ask questions and do whatever the hell else they want to do. But the last place you want to try to, in my opinion, shoot it out with a cop is in your car. Now, of course, there has been incidences in the past where, a cop will walk up on the car and somebody will get to shooting. I mean, that's the only other way I could see it, because once you let them actually get up on you and the car and open the door and all that shit, it's over for you, bro. They got you. They have the upper hand. They got guns on you. They got the door open. They knew something was going on with old bro. They knew something was going on with him. So, it's unfortunate, because it doesn't look like he made it. And I'm quite sure he didn't make it, because he actually looks like he actually pulled the gun out. So yeah, this is sad and crazy. But, people are like, well, they came in hot and, they was already on some. And I'm like, they had a, most of the time when you get pulled over by a cop, if it's just for speeding and some shit like that, they usually don't come up to the car, guns drawn, ready to shoot you. Okay, usually they just walk up on the car and tell you what you did and give you a ticket and go about their way. So they definitely got something on their scanner, on their laptop, that probably told them that he was armed and dangerous or something like that. So that's why they did what they did. But once again, man, I just hate seeing it when it's just, us just being just flat out disrespectful, and just acting like, people aren't here to do their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's his job to arrest you. That's his job to harass you. That's his job. That's what police do. That's what slave catchers do. That's what they've always done. So you literally have to be smarter than the slave catchers. Because if you're not, and they catch you, then there's a possibility that, they can do something to you. And, what I tell kids that I speak to is, the only way you can fight is when you're free. You can't fight in jail, and you can't fight dead. So the focus should be, all right, let me make it home. Even if, like I say, because people always say, well, they all, they're violating my rights, and I know my rights, and I know this, and I know that. When you're in a traffic stop and they've pulled you over for something, they are, once they pull you over, you're already looked at as, they're looking at you like a criminal. All right, yeah, you was only speeding, but, let me look at the rest of your rap sheet. Let me look at your record. How many times have you sped? Do you speed all the time? Like, they look at all this bullshit, and all this bullshit gives them an idea of what type of person you are when they walk up to the car. And when you're black, they automatically you know, not all of them, but a lot of them automatically seem to go on the defensive if you're black because once again they don't know, you know, what may happen in this situation because of the history that we have with each other. And that's how black people feel too. I understand it, but you can't fight inside a car. You can't fight shooting back. You can't fight inside a jail cell, and you definitely can't fight inside a coffin. So I know police do their jobs incorrectly all the time. They do dirty shit all the time. But once again, I said it before, unless you're a lawyer and you know the Ohio Revised Code and you can literally quote it, meaning you could tell this, if a cop is doing something that he shouldn't be doing, and you could say, per Ohio Revised Code, so-and-so, so-and-so, I am this or I am that, or you can't do this, you can't do that. When you say things like that, Ohio Revised Code, then they understand that language because that's legal language, and that's language that, okay, he must study law. You know what I'm saying? That's law shit. So, not saying they won't still shoot your ass, but if you're going to try to debate a cop or, fight for your rights during a traffic stop, then you have to know the law front to back. Because I also seen a traffic stop where the guy was telling the cop that what he was doing was, you can't do this. This is unlawful. That's against the law. You can't. And he said, give me your supervisor. Go get a supervisor. And the cop was like, no, I'm not getting no supervisor. For what? What am I getting a supervisor for? No, bro, get out the car type shit. So now the guy in the car is like, oh, you're supposed to get a supervisor because I asked for a supervisor. You breaking the law. You're not doing your job right. The cop commenced to pulling this guy out the car. And what made it so crazy is that while he was pulling the guy out the car, he said something about, based off of Pennsylvania versus so and so, which is, I guess, is a court, what do they call it when they do that? It's pretty much, once again, it's legal jargon, but it's legal stuff that they can say that, he's pretty much saying what I'm doing is lawful based off of these court documents and this court hearing type shit. As the guy's being pulled out the car, and he says that, based off of Pennsylvania versus whatever, the guy's like, what are you talking, what, babe? I don't know what you're talking about. So now, you tried to use, legal jargon, and you tried to use, the law against him like you knew the law more than he did. And then he turned around and used the law against you because you did not know the law. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, what he said probably wasn't even that big or that important, but he knew the law. So when he said what he said, now he has something to stand on when they play this shit in court and they show you being, just what's the word? Being not listening to the cop. I don't want to use the word obedient because it shouldn't be the word. Obedience, that's to me is for dogs. But I mean, I guess in a way it's, you have to obey the law. So in a way it's obedience, but I don't like using that word. But yeah, the cop came up and, told me to get out the car. The guy argued about the car and not getting out the car and all this other good stuff. And they ended up pulling him out the car. And like I said, he said something like, oh, you got to get your supervisor because that's against the law. If you don't go get your supervisor, this, that, and this, that, and that. And once again, had he said something like, can I please speak to your supervisor, based on Ohio Revised Code, so-and-so, if if an individual is pulled over, then he has the right to ask a Escalate for a supervisor on code, or even like the cop did, based off of, Pennsylvania versus Ohio, it states that if I ask for a supervisor, that you have to get that supervisor. Now, even with that being said, don't mean he gonna get a supervisor. Even if you do say that shit, okay, he can still be like, man, fuck what you talking about. Get out the car. And that's what I think people fail to realize when it comes to the police. People feel like, police, just like everybody else, should, obey the law, of course, and, should be obedient to us, should do what we tell them to do when they pull us over. Like, when they pull us over, we be like, oh, call your supervisor. Bro, you broke the law already. You know what I'm saying? Unless he's pulling you over and you ain't broke the law, or you just sitting there and he pull up on you, and, I don't know what type of situation it would call for you to even call a supervisor. Like, I've never been pulled over and be like, hey, man, call your supervisor. For fucking what, man? I was speeding. I was doing something wrong. I got caught. Let me take accountability and say, all right, yeah, I got caught. How much is the ticket? Or do I got to go to court or whatever I got to do? But that's it. Like, there's no reason to go into all the bullshit. And I guess another reason why I feel this way is because I have been to the penitentiary. I have been locked up behind walls for 2 years straight when I went to the penitentiary when I was 19. And before I went, I used to get in trouble I used to get pulled over a lot. I stayed in a place called Boston Heights. Well, I didn't stay in Boston Heights, but I stayed close to Boston Heights. And I used to have to drive through Boston Heights to get to Akron. And when I tell you Boston Heights is the smallest town in Ohio, or one of the smallest towns in Ohio. And they literally had the most traffic tickets. Smallest city in Ohio, the most traffic tickets in the state. So that's how often they pulled over black and brown people. Okay, they didn't really pull over white people. If you was white and got pulled over, then you was probably white trash. It was very rare that they was pulling over, prominent white people, because out in the suburbs, that's where your other cops, your lawyers, your doctors, and shit like that live at. So there was a lot of profiling going on, right? So they would profile me, and because my cars, most of it was smugs, they would see they were smugs, and they would always pull me over. Whether I was speeding, there was numerous times where I would literally, I know I'm coming up on Boston Heights. Let me slow down to the speed limit. I'm looking at my speed limit, knowing I'm doing the speed limit, and I still get pulled over. You know what I'm saying? Then they'll still say I was speeding, and I say, I can sit there and try to argue with him. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I know I wasn't speeding. I was watching my odometer. I know you pulled me over because I was black. But once again, I can't sit here and fight that right here and right now. The only way I can fight that is if I get my lawyer and I take you to court, and then I fight it that way. Okay? But honestly, I could never fight him. I never fought him because I don't have the money to do that type of shit. And on top of that, my parents really didn't believe me. You know what I'm saying? Because, my track record, I was wild. So even when I would tell my parents, like, yo, I didn't do shit, they just pulled me over, we need to get a lawyer. And I would tell them, like, yo, we could get a lawyer because I didn't do anything, man, and this, that, and they like, man, we ain't get no fucking lawyer. What, you pay $1,000 just to go to court and for nothing? Like, fuck out of here. And I get it. You know what I'm saying? I totally get it. But what came to fruition and what, when it happened, because I think it was like one of those news investigations, and it came out that they was profiling people. They had the most tickets in the state. How was they able to do that? How the majority of the people who got tickets from them were black. You know what I'm saying? Like it just came out that they were pretty much just a racist little city. You know what I mean? And when it came out, it was just like, I told y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't like after a while, it's not coincidence no more. Like, even when, I felt like they didn't just profile me, but they knew my name and shit. You know what I'm saying? So they could get behind the car, run the plate, see my name, and be like, oh, we can pull this nigga over because he always, you know what I'm saying? because I was one of them niggas who would ride dirty. So yeah, I would, I would have, my license would be suspended or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So like I say, I wasn't wasn't an angel. I definitely was doing shit that I shouldn't have been doing, and that's why they did the shit that they did. Most of the time, people, I think the majority, I think police said this, like the majority of their arrests come from traffic stops. You know what I'm saying? Like, so their arrests aren't coming based off of calls being made. They arrest people more. Majority of their arrests come from traffic stops, because when they stop you, then they run you. Oh, you got a warrant. Oh, your license suspended. Oh, you ain't got no insurance. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can get you for little bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got a warrant. You know what I'm saying? That's how they get a lot of niggas who got warrants and shit, who are on the run. Traffic stops. So, my thing is, just learn how to do what, like, this guy, honestly, I think he was maybe suicidal. He there was something going on with bro. And they knew it off top because he was not obeying anything that they said. And that's another thing that I try to tell the young men and women that I talk to. If they ask you to do something and you don't do it, or you start being, aggressive or disrespectful, then they start looking at you a little different. Like, maybe at first they looked at you like, all right, this is just a, normal black guy. I'm gonna give him a ticket. But once you start getting aggressive, no, I ain't doing this. Put your hands up. No, I ain't putting my hands up. Nah, there ain't nothing under there. When you're not doing the things that they're asking you to do, you start making yourself look more and more like a criminal. You start making yourself look more and more suspicious that you're trying to do something. And to them, the only suspicious thing you can be trying to do is do something to them. So they're going to make sure that they do something to you first before you can do anything to them. And like I say, looking back at that footage, you see the young man pull a gun out. So they knew when they walked up on that car, that young man was probably armed and dangerous. He might have even tried to do this shit before, you know what I'm saying, and got away with it, or, they never caught up with him or whatever. But they definitely knew something was up when they walked up on that car. But, hopefully, if the young man didn't live, then, condolences to his family. But yeah, as much as we want to buck the system and not listen to these police and feel like, I don't know what individual be feeling like, but all I'm going to say is you can't fight in jail and you can't fight in the ground. So if you do want to really fight back the justice system or fight back the cop that did something to you that you feel was unlawful or illegal, then you make it home, get on the phone, call you a lawyer, get you a lawsuit, get you some money. That's how you do it. But, arguing, being argumentative, being disrespectful, telling the cop he don't know what he's doing, he don't know what he talk about, asking for supervisors and all that bullshit. Just try to get home, bro. Just try to make it home, because if you can make it home, then, you may not even care about, they may let you go. You may not even care about that shit. But, if you feel as though your rights have been, disrespected and they're not respecting your rights and things of that nature, then you got to go to court and fight it and win and get you some money. So appreciate the love. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.